The sun beat down on the polished floors of Westfield Mall, casting long rectangles of light through the high glass ceiling. It was Saturday afternoon and the place buzzed with weekend shoppers. Families pushed strollers loaded with shopping bags. Teenagers huddled in laughing groups, and tired parents chased energetic children between stores. Darnell Wright stepped into the cool air conditioning with a sigh of relief. At 34, he carried himself with the easy confidence of an athlete, even years after his college basketball days had ended. These days, he poured that same passion into coaching high school basketball at Roosevelt High, where his team had just made it to the district finals. He'd promised them new practice jerseys if they won, which was exactly why he was at the mall today. Darnell checked his watch. The sports store would be closing in an hour, giving him plenty of time to compare prices for custom jerseys. He pulled out his phone to check his list of sizes when something caught his eye, or rather, someone. A small boy stood near the central fountain, turning in slow circles with tears streaming down his face. He couldn't have been more than 6 or 7, wearing a blue dinosaur t-shirt and light-up sneakers. What struck Darnell most was how people simply flowed around the child like water around a rock. Everyone too busy with their own errands to notice his distress. Without hesitation, Darnell tucked his phone away and approached the boy, kneeling down to meet his eyes. "Hey there, buddy. You okay?" he asked gently. The boy looked up, his eyes wide and wet. For a moment, he seemed ready to bolt, his small shoulders tensing. "It's all right," Darnell said, keeping his distance. "My name's Coach D. I work at a school." "Are you lost?" The child sniffled and nodded, wiping his nose with the back of his hand. "I can't find my mom," he whispered. "That's pretty scary, isn't it?" Darnell said. "What's your name?" "Tyler," the boy replied, his voice barely audible over the mall noise. "Nice to meet you, Tyler. I bet your mom's looking everywhere for you right now. How about we try to find her together?" Tyler looked unsure, his eyes darting around at the passing strangers. Darnell remembered all the stranger danger talks kids got these days, and he respected the boy's caution. "Tell you what," he said, pulling out his coaching ID card from his wallet. "See this? This shows I work with kids at a school, and we can go talk to one of the security guards too if that makes you feel better." Tyler studied the ID card with serious eyes. "You're a basketball coach?" Darnell smiled. "That's right. Do you like basketball?" The boy nodded, some of the fear leaving his face. "My mom got me a hoop for my birthday." "That's awesome. My team just made it to the finals." Darnell stood up and pointed to a nearby bench. "How about we sit over there where it's less crowded, and you can tell me where you last saw your mom?" Tyler hesitated for just a moment before nodding, and they walked to the bench together, Darnell being careful not to take the boy's hand or rush him. Once seated, Tyler seemed a little calmer. "We were looking at toys," he explained. "And then I saw this really cool robot dinosaur and I went to look at it, and when I turned around..." His lower lip trembled again. "She was gone," Darnell nodded. "That happens more than you'd think." "So the toy store, huh? Which one was it?" "The big one with the giraffe. Wonderland Toys? On the second floor?" Tyler nodded, wiping away a fresh tear. "Okay, that's a good place to start. Your mom's probably still there looking for you." Darnell kept his voice cheerful and confident, even though he knew the mother could be anywhere in the mall by now, possibly in a panic. He noticed a security guard making his rounds near the information desk. "See that guard over there? Let's go tell him you're lost, and then we can all look for your mom together." As they stood up, Darnell became aware of a woman watching them from a nearby smoothie kiosk, her expression wary. He understood immediately. A large black man with a crying white child could look suspicious to some people. The unfairness of it stung, but Tyler's need was more important than his feelings right now. Darnell approached the security guard, making sure to keep a respectful distance from Tyler, while staying close enough to keep him from getting lost in the crowd again. "Excuse me," he said to the guard, a middle-aged man with a buzz cut. "This young man got separated from his mom at Wonderland Toys. We were hoping you could help us find her." The guard looked from Darnell to Tyler, his expression unreadable. "Is this your dad?" he asked Tyler directly. Tyler shook his head. "No, he's a basketball coach. He's helping me find my mom." The guard's posture relaxed slightly. He knelt down to Tyler's level. "What's your name, son?" "Tyler Mitchell." "And what does your mom look like, Tyler?" She has brown hair that goes like this. Tyler indicated shoulder length. And she's wearing a white shirt today with little flowers on it. And she has a big black purse. The guard nodded, jotting notes in a small pad. How long have you been separated? Tyler looked at his light-up shoes. I don't know. About 15 minutes, maybe? Darnell suggested. I just found him by the fountain. The guard spoke into his radio, describing Tyler and his mother to other security personnel. We'll keep an eye out. She might have already reported him missing at the information desk. Want to head there now? Tyler looked up at Darnell, clearly more comfortable with him now than with the new stranger. Sounds like a plan, Darnell agreed. What do you think, Tyler? Ready to go check? The boy nodded and they followed the guard across the bustling atrium. Darnell noticed more glances coming their way, some curious, some concerned. He'd experienced these looks before, but they still made him uncomfortable. He focused instead on Tyler, asking about his favorite basketball teams to keep the boy's mind occupied. I like the Lakers, Tyler said, his anxiety temporarily forgotten in the excitement of talking sports. But my mom likes the Bucks because she grew up in Milwaukee. The Bucks, huh? Giannis is a force of nature on the court. Tyler's eyes lit up. Yeah. Mom took me to a game once and we were so close we could see his sweat. Darnell laughed. That's what I call good seats. At the information desk, a harried-looking woman was typing rapidly on a computer. She glanced up as they approached. Can I help you? This is Tyler Mitchell, the security guard explained. He got separated from his mother at Wonderland Toys. Has anyone reported a missing child? The woman checked her computer, then shook her head. Not yet, but let me take down the information. She reached for a form. My mom's name is Ms. Mitchell, Tyler volunteered, proud to know something helpful. Good job, buddy, Darnell said. Do you know your mom's first name too? Tyler thought hard, then shook his head. Everyone just calls her Ms. Mitchell at my school. That's okay, the information desk woman assured him. We can make an announcement over the PA system. Your mom will hear it wherever she is in the mall. As they waited for the announcement, Darnell checked his watch. The sports store would be closing soon, but the jerseys could wait. Right now, reuniting Tyler with his mom was all that mattered. The announcement echoed through the mall. Attention shoppers, we have a lost child at the information desk. Would Tyler Mitchell's mother please come to the main information desk on the ground floor? Tyler is safe and waiting for you. Tyler perked up at hearing his name over the speakers. That's so cool, he whispered to Darnell. Now we wait, Darnell said, settling into one of the chairs next to the desk. She'll be here soon. They didn't have to wait long. About 5 minutes later, a woman's voice cut through the mall noise. Tyler, a slender woman with shoulder-length brown hair, was practically running toward them, her flower-patterned white blouse exactly as Tyler had described. Her face showed the remnants of panic, quickly melting into relief. Mom! Tyler jumped up and ran to her. She dropped to her knees, wrapping him in a tight embrace, her eyes closed as she held him. I was so worried, she whispered into his hair. I turned around and you were gone. I've been looking everywhere. After a long moment, she stood up, keeping Tyler's hand firmly in hers. Her eyes found Darnell, who had risen from his chair but kept a respectful distance, allowing mother and son their reunion. Thank you, she said, her voice thick with emotion. Did you find him? Darnell nodded. By the fountain. He was pretty scared, but he kept his cool. You've got a brave kid there. Tyler beamed at the compliment. Coach D helped me, Mom. He coaches basketball and his team is going to the finals. The woman extended her free hand. Catherine Mitchell. I can't thank you enough. Darnell shook her hand with a warm smile. Darnell Wright. And no thanks necessary. Anyone would have done the same. Catherine shook her head slightly. Not everyone would have stopped, Mr. Wright. I'm truly grateful. The security guard approached with a form. Ma'am, if you could just verify some information for our records. As Catherine spoke with the guard, Tyler looked up at Darnell. Thanks for helping me, Coach D. Anytime, champ. Keep practicing those basketball skills, okay? Tyler nodded solemnly. I will. Maybe someday I can play on your team. I'll be looking forward to it, Darnell replied, meaning it. As the mother and son prepared to leave, Catherine turned to Darnell once more. Thank you again. There's so much scary news these days. It's easy to forget that there are still good people willing to help strangers. Darnell nodded, understanding the weight behind her words. The world's full of good people, Ms. Mitchell. Sometimes we just need a chance to show it. With final waves goodbye, Tyler and his mother walked away hand in hand. Darnell checked his watch again. The sports store would be closed by now. But as he headed toward the exit, he couldn't help smiling. The jerseys could wait until tomorrow. Some things were more important than basketball. Darnell's plans to leave the mall quickly changed when Tyler tugged at his mother's hand and said, "Mom, I'm really hungry. Can we get something to eat?" Catherine checked her watch and nodded. "I suppose we could. It's been quite an adventure already." She turned to Darnell with a slightly hesitant smile. "Would you like to join us? It's the least I can offer after you helped Tyler." Darnell hadn't expected the invitation. He'd planned to grab something quick at home, but the genuine look in Catherine's eyes made him reconsider. "Well, I missed getting those basketball jerseys anyway. Sure, I'd like that." Tyler bounced on his toes. "Can we get pizza, please?" Catherine laughed. "Pizza it is." The three made their way to the food court, Tyler now walking between them, occasionally looking up at Darnell with undisguised admiration. The food court buzzed with weekend energy. Families sharing meals, teenagers huddled around tables, the mixed aromas of different cuisines filling the air. As they stood in line at the pizza counter, Darnell noticed Tyler's eyes following a security guard walking past, the same one who had helped them earlier. The boy seemed thoughtful. "What's on your mind, buddy?" Darnell asked. Tyler looked up at him. "If I got lost again, would you find me again?" The question caught Darnell off guard. Catherine gave her son a gentle squeeze on the shoulder. "Tyler, Mr. Wright was very kind to help us today, but he has his own life. And besides, you're not going to get lost again because you're going to stay right by my side, right?" Tyler nodded, but his eyes stayed on Darnell, waiting for an answer. Darnell knelt down to meet Tyler at eye level. "You know what? I bet you won't get lost again because now you know what to do. If you ever can't find your mom, you find a security guard or someone who works at the store, just like we did today." "But what if there's no one around?" Tyler pressed. Darnell thought for a moment. "Then you stay exactly where you are. Don't wander around looking. Your mom will come back to where she last saw you. That's always the first place parents look." Catherine smiled gratefully at Darnell for the practical advice. "That's exactly right, Tyler. And what's our special trick if we get separated?" Tyler straightened up proudly. "I look for something that doesn't move, like a big sign or a statue, and I wait there." "Perfect," Darnell said, genuinely impressed. "That's a really smart plan." They reached the counter and ordered a cheese pizza for Tyler and slices of pepperoni for the adults. Darnell insisted on paying, waving away Catherine's protests. "Please let me. It's not often I get to have pizza with a future basketball star." Tyler beamed at the compliment as they found a table near the center of the food court. As they settled in, Darnell noticed a subtle shift in the atmosphere. A few nearby diners glanced their way with curious expressions. A black man dining with a white woman and her child still drew attention in some circles, even in 2025. Catherine seemed to notice too, her back straightening slightly, but she carried on the conversation without missing a beat. "So, Darnell, Tyler mentioned you're a basketball coach? Where do you teach?" "Roosevelt High," he replied, taking a bite of his pizza. "Been there 5 years now. We've got a shot at the district championship this season." Tyler's eyes widened. "A real championship? With a trophy and everything?" Darnell nodded, smiling at the boy's excitement. "Yep, big golden trophy. That's why I was at the mall today, actually, looking for new practice jerseys for the team." "Did you play basketball when you were younger?" Catherine asked, dabbing the corner of her mouth with a napkin. "College ball at State. Had dreams of going pro, but a knee injury senior year put an end to that." Darnell said this without bitterness. He'd made peace with that disappointment long ago. "Turned out coaching was where I belonged anyway. There's something special about helping kids find their potential." Catherine nodded thoughtfully. "That's a wonderful way to look at it. Finding the right path can take unexpected turns. What about you?" Darnell asked. "What do you do?" A small smile played at the corner of Catherine's mouth. "I work in tech. Nothing as exciting as shaping young minds. Mom has a big office with lots of computers," Tyler chimed in, cheese stretching from his slice to his mouth. "And people always have to ask her before they do stuff." Catherine laughed, ruffling her son's hair. "That's one way to put it." Darnell was about to ask more when his phone buzzed. He checked it quickly, a text from his assistant coach about tomorrow's practice schedule. He sent a quick reply before tucking the phone away. "Sorry about that. Work stuff," he explained. Speaking of which, I should probably head out soon. Got early practice tomorrow. On Sunday? Catherine asked. Championships on Friday. Every day counts now. Darnell finished his slice and wiped his hands. These kids have worked so hard to get here. Tyler looked disappointed. But you just got here. Tyler, Catherine said gently, Mr. Wright has already been very generous with his time today. Darnell smiled at Tyler. Hey, it's been great hanging out with you. Maybe someday I'll see you on the court at Roosevelt. The boy brightened at that. Mom, can we go see his team play? In the championship? Catherine looked surprised by the request, then glanced at Darnell. I don't want to impose. Not at all, Darnell said, genuinely pleased by the idea. It's a public event. Friday night, 7 p.m. at the downtown sports center. The team would love the support. As they finished their meal, Darnell noticed Tyler stifling a yawn. The excitement of the day was clearly catching up to him. Looks like someone's ready to call it a day, he observed. Catherine nodded, gathering their trash. It's been quite an afternoon. They walked together toward the mall exit. Tyler now walking more slowly, his earlier energy fading. Without thinking, Darnell held the door open for them as they stepped into the late afternoon sunlight. Where are you parked? He asked. Section C, Catherine replied. You? All the way over in E. I was late getting here. They paused at the point where their paths would diverge. There was a moment of awkward silence, the kind that comes when strangers who have shared an intense experience must now return to their separate lives. Well, Catherine said finally. Thank you again for everything today, Darnell nodded. It was no trouble at all. Tyler looked up at him with tired eyes. Thanks for helping me find my mom, Coach D. Anytime, buddy. Darnell hesitated, then reached into his wallet and pulled out a business card. Here, this has my contact info at the school if you ever want to come by and see a practice sometime. Catherine took the card, studying it for a moment before tucking it into her purse. That's very kind of you. She seemed to be weighing something in her mind. Finally, she pulled out her phone. Would it be all right if I had your number? In case we want to take you up on that game invitation. Darnell felt a small surge of surprise followed by a pleasant warmth. Sure, of course. He recited his number as she typed it into her contacts. I'll text you so you have mine, she said, her fingers moving quickly across the screen. A moment later, Darnell's phone buzzed in his pocket. He pulled it out to see a simple message, thank you for today. Catherine Mitchell. He looked up with a smile. Got it. Well, Catherine said, taking Tyler's hand. We should get going. It's been a long day. Yeah, for me too. Darnell put his phone away. It was nice meeting you both despite the circumstances. Tyler waved as they began walking toward Section C. Bye, Coach D. See you at the championship. Darnell waved back, watching them go for a moment before turning toward his own car. As he walked, he found himself smiling. What had started as a simple errand had turned into something unexpected, a reminder of the connections that can form in the most unlikely moments. In his car, he checked his phone one more time, looking at Catherine's message. His thumb hovered over the screen for a moment before he typed a reply. Happy to help. Hope to see you both at the game. As he drove home, the setting sun painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, Darnell thought about the day's events. He'd missed getting the jerseys for his team, but somehow that didn't seem to matter much anymore. There would be time for that tomorrow. Today had been about something more important, about being in the right place at the right time, about helping a scared child, about making a connection. He thought about Tyler's excite me, Andover basketball, and Catherine's unexpected invitation to the game. Would they really come? Part of him hoped they would. There was something about them, about the way Tyler's eyes lit up when talking about basketball, about the quiet strength in Catherine's manner. That intrigued him. Darnell turned onto his street, the familiar sights of his neighborhood coming into view. His modest house waited at the end of the block, empty and quiet. He lived alone since his divorce 3 years ago, his ex-wife having moved to another state for work. The house often felt too big for just one person, especially on weekends. As he pulled into his driveway, his phone buzzed again. He checked it to see another message from Catherine. Tyler won't stop talking about basketball now. I think you've created a monster. Darnell laughed out loud in the quiet car. He typed back, the best kind of monster. Basketball builds character. The reply came quickly. So it seems. Good night, Darnell. Good night, Catherine, he wrote back. Stepping out of his car, Darnell looked up at the darkening sky, now speckled with the first stars of evening. Sometimes life took unexpected turns. Sometimes a simple trip to the mall could lead to something more. What that more might be, he didn't know yet, but for the first time in a while he was curious to find out. The week flew by for Darnell. Between final practices, strategy meetings with his assistant coaches, and his regular teaching duties, he barely had time to think about Saturday's chance encounter. But occasionally, during quiet moments between classes or late at night as he reviewed game footage, his mind would wander back to Tyler and Catherine. On Wednesday afternoon, as his team ran drills on the court, Darnell's phone vibrated in his pocket. He waited until the players were focused on a passing exercise before checking it. A message from Catherine. Tyler has been practicing his dribbling in the living room. My vase collection is in serious danger. Any tips for a basketball-obsessed 7-year-old? Darnell smiled, imagining the scene. He typed back, get him a foam ball for indoors. Saves furniture and teaches soft touch, which is good for his game anyway. 3 dots appeared immediately then. Genius. Why didn't I think of that? Still planning to come Friday, by the way. Tyler talks about nothing else. Darnell felt an unexpected flutter of anticipation. He looked up at his team. 15 teenage boys working their hearts out on the court, chasing a dream of championship glory. Now they'd have at least 2 more fans in the stands. Great. I'll leave tickets at will call under your name, he replied. A whistle from his assistant coach pulled his attention back to practice. Antonio, his star point guard, had just executed a perfect pick and roll with the center. Darnell pocketed his phone and clapped his hands. That's what I'm talking about. Now let's run it again, but faster on the rotation. The next 2 days passed in a blur of last-minute preparations. Darnell had coached in big games before, but this championship felt different. Roosevelt High hadn't made it to the district finals in 12 years. For a school often overlooked and underfunded compared to its wealthier suburban counterparts, this was more than just a basketball game. It was a chance for the students, the neighborhood, the community to feel proud. Friday evening arrived with the electric energy that surrounds important events. The downtown sports center hummed with activity as spectators filed in, students, parents, teachers, and basketball enthusiasts from across the city. The Roosevelt team had arrived early, the players now warming up on court, their faces masks of concentration hiding their nerves. Darnell stood on the sidelines, clipboard in hand, watching his team's movements with a critical eye. His assistant coach Pete sidled up next to him. They look ready, Pete observed. Darnell nodded. They've put in the work. Now they just need to trust their training and play their game. Pete followed Darnell's occasional glances toward the entrance, expecting someone. Darnell hesitated. Just a kid I met who's interested in basketball. Thought it might inspire him to see what high school ball looks like. Pete raised an eyebrow but didn't press further. 15 minutes till tip-off. I'll get them in for the final talk. As Pete gathered the team, Darnell scanned the growing crowd once more. No sign of Catherine and Tyler yet. He pushed away a twinge of disappointment. They might still come, but even if they didn't, he had a game to coach. In the locker room, Darnell kept his pre-game speech simple. These boys didn't need fancy words or dramatic movie moments. They needed confidence and clarity. You've earned your spot here, he told them, looking each player in the eye. Not by luck, not by chance, but by showing up day after day, pushing through when it hurt, lifting each other up when someone fell. Tonight, win or lose, I want you to play like you belong here, because you do. The team responded with determined nods and a few quiet, yes, coach affirmations. As they huddled for their team chant, Darnell felt that familiar pre-game certainty settle in his chest. Whatever happened next, these boys would make him proud. The Roosevelt Tigers jogged out onto the court to cheers from their supporters, though they were noticeably outnumbered by fans of the opposing team, Westbrook Academy. Westbrook's side of the arena was a sea of green and gold, their cheer section coordinated and loud. As Darnell took his place on the bench, his eyes automatically swept the crowd again. This time, near the middle section on the Roosevelt side, he spotted them. Catherine in a blue blouse, her hair pulled back, and beside her, Tyler, practically bouncing in his seat with excitement. The boy wore a makeshift Roosevelt Colors outfit, a yellow t-shirt with a paper tiger taped to the front. When Tyler spotted Darnell looking their way, he waved enthusiastically. Darnell smiled and gave a small wave back, oddly touched by their presence. The referee's whistle cut through the arena noise. Game time. The first quarter was rough. Westbrook came out aggressive, their plays polished and precise. Roosevelt seemed hesitant, overwhelmed by the occasion. By the first time out, they were down 12-4, and Darnell could see the doubt creeping into his players' expressions. "Listen up," he said as they huddled around him. "They're not better than us. They're just playing their game while we're watching. Time to play ours. Antonio, push the pace. Make them run." The team responded, clawing back point by point. By halftime, they'd narrowed Westbrook's lead to 3 points. 36-33. The Roosevelt supporters had found their voice, the cheers growing louder with each successful play. During the break, as he discussed adjustments with his assistant coaches, Darnell noticed Catherine standing at the edge of the court, Tyler beside her. She caught his eye and gestured to a security guard, who seemed to be preventing them from approaching the bench area. Darnell excused himself for a moment and walked over. The security guard, a stocky man with a buzz cut, looked at him questioningly. "It's okay," Darnell said. "They're with me." The guard nodded and stepped aside. Tyler immediately burst forward. "Coach D, your team is awesome. That tall kid's dunks are so cool." Darnell chuckled. "Thanks, buddy. That's Antonio. He works hard at those dunks." Catherine smiled apologetically. "Sorry to bother you during the game. Tyler just wanted to wish you good luck." "No bother at all," Darnell assured her. "Having you both here means a lot." Tyler looked up at him with wide eyes. "Are you gonna win?" Darnell glanced over at his team, huddled together, passing around water bottles and discussing plays. "We're sure going to try." "You'll win," Tyler said with absolute certainty. "I can feel it." Darnell felt something warm spread through his chest at the boys' unwavering confidence. "Well, with you cheering for us, how can we lose?" He reached out and gently fist-bumped Tyler's small hand. "I've got to get back to my team now. Enjoy the second half." "We will," Catherine replied. "They're playing wonderfully already." As they returned to their seats, Darnell rejoined his team with renewed energy. Sometimes he thought the most powerful motivation came from unexpected places. The third quarter was a battle, with the lead changing hands multiple times. Roosevelt's defense tightened, forcing Westbrook into difficult shots. On offense, they moved the ball more freely, finding open looks. When the buzzer sounded ending the quarter, Roosevelt had taken a slim lead, 52-50. In the fourth quarter, the game reached fever pitch. The crowd noise swelled with each possession. With 2 minutes remaining, the score was tied at 64. During a timeout, Darnell could see the exhaustion on his players' faces, but also the determination. "This is your moment," he told them simply. "Everything you've worked for. Trust each other. Trust yourselves." In the final minute, with the score tied at 68, Antonio stole the ball at midcourt and raced toward the basket. A Westbrook defender caught up, forcing Antonio to pass to his teammate Lee, who'd been quiet all game. Lee hesitated for a split second, then rose up and released a three-pointer. The arena seemed to hold its breath as the ball arced through the air. When it swished through the net, the Roosevelt section erupted. Westbrook called timeout with 22 seconds left, now trailing by 3. Darnell gathered his team quickly. "Defend the 3. Make them drive. No fouls." Those final seconds stretched like hours. Westbrook moved the ball around the perimeter, searching for an opening. With 5 seconds left, their star shooter found space and launched a three-pointer. The ball hit the rim, bounced up, and fell away. Roosevelt's center grabbed the rebound and held on as the final buzzer sounded. 71-68. Roosevelt had won the district championship. The bench cleared as players rushed the court, jumping and embracing. Darnell found himself surrounded by celebrating teenagers, their joy uncontained. As he looked past them toward the stands, he saw Tyler jumping up and down, clapping wildly, while Catherine stood beside him, applauding with a wide smile. In that moment, victory felt perfect, not just because they'd won a championship, but because he had people there who cared, who understood what this meant, someone other than just his team to share this moment with. As the celebration continued around him, Darnell caught Catherine's eye across the court. She gave him a thumbs up and mouthed what looked like congratulations. He nodded back, a silent acknowledgement passing between them. Sometimes life's best moments arrive unexpectedly, he thought. A week ago, he would never have imagined this scenario, winning the championship with that lost little boy from the mall now cheering in the stands. But here they were, and somehow it felt exactly right. The celebration lasted well into the evening. After the trophy presentation and team photos, most of the Roosevelt players and their families headed to Pinelli's Pizza to continue the festivities. Darnell stood near the restaurant entrance watching his team laugh and share stories, their faces still glowing with victory. Pete slapped him on the shoulder. "Heck of a game, coach, heck of a season." Darnell nodded, smiling. "These kids earned it." "Every bit of it." "You know," Pete said, lowering his voice. "Johnson from Central High called me last week. They're looking for a head coach next season. Bigger program, better funding. I'm happy where I am." Darnell cut in gently. "Roosevelt's home," Pete shrugged. "Just thought you should know. Opportunities like that don't come around often." Before Darnell could respond, he spotted Catherine and Tyler making their way through the crowded restaurant. Tyler spotted him first and broke into a run. "Coach D, that was the best game ever." The boy's eyes were wide with excitement. "You guys won the championship." Darnell knelt down to Tyler's level. "We sure did. What did you think of the game?" "It was so cool. When that guy, Antonio, when he stole the ball, I knew something good was going to happen. And then that other guy made the three-pointer and everyone went crazy." Catherine approached more slowly, smiling at her son's enthusiasm. "Congratulations, coach, that was quite a finish." "Thanks for coming," Darnell said, standing up. "It meant a lot to see you both there." "We wouldn't have missed it," she replied. Pete cleared his throat pointedly beside Darnell. "Oh, sorry," Darnell said. "Pete, this is Catherine and Tyler Mitchell. They're friends of mine." "Catherine, Tyler, this is Pete Wilson, my assistant coach." Pete shook Catherine's hand with a curious expression. "Nice to meet you. Don't think I've seen you at games before." "It was our first," Catherine explained, "but I don't think it will be our last." Tyler tugged at Darnell's jacket. "Coach D, can I meet the players?" "The ones who won?" Darnell exchanged glances with Catherine, who nodded her permission. "Sure thing. Come on, I'll introduce you." He led Tyler to the large table where most of the team sat, leaving Catherine chatting with Pete. The players, still riding the high of victory, welcomed the wide-eyed boy warmly. "Team, this is Tyler. He's a future basketball star," Darnell announced. "Tyler, these are the district champions." Antonio, the team captain, slid over to make room on the bench. "Come sit, little man. You want to hold the trophy?" Tyler's mouth fell open as Antonio carefully placed the gleaming championship trophy in his small hands. The weight of it surprised him and he gripped it tightly, looking up at the older boys with awe. "Were you scared?" Tyler asked, his voice hushed. "When the game was tied?" The players laughed, but not unkindly. Antonio ruffled Tyler's hair. "Course we were scared. But Coach D always tells us being scared just means you care about something. Right, Coach?" Darnell nodded, touched that his words had stuck with them. "Exactly right." As Tyler chatted with the players, asking question after question about the game, Darnell glanced back to check on Catherine. She was still talking with Pete, but now they were joined by Principal Hernandez, who had come to support the team. Catherine seemed perfectly at ease, laughing at something the principal had said. There was something about her that intrigued him, a quiet confidence, an attentive way of listening, that made whoever was speaking feel important. He'd noticed it that first day at the mall and again tonight. She carried herself with dignity but without pretension. After a few minutes, Darnell made his way back to the adults just in time to hear Principal Hernandez saying, "Really turned the program around. 3 years ago, we were considering cutting basketball altogether due to budget issues. The team seems very dedicated," Catherine replied. "That usually reflects leadership." "It certainly does," the principal agreed, nodding at Darnell as he approached. "Speak of the coach himself. I was just telling Ms. Mitchell here how fortunate we are to have you at Roosevelt." Darnell felt a flush of pride but shrugged modestly. "I'm the fortunate one. Great kids, great school. And now a great big trophy," Principal Hernandez added with a smile. "I should circulate. The school board members are here somewhere. Congratulations again, Coach Wright." He shook Darnell's hand firmly before moving on. "Your principal thinks very highly of you," Catherine observed once they were alone. He's a good man. Fights hard for the school despite all the budget cuts. Catherine nodded thoughtfully. It must be rewarding working with these students, making a difference in their lives. Most days, Darnell admitted with a small smile. Some days they drive me crazy, but then there are nights like tonight that make it all worthwhile. They fell into easy conversation, moving to a quieter corner of the restaurant as the celebration continued around them. Catherine asked about his teaching, his coaching philosophy, how he'd gotten into basketball in the first place. Darnell found himself sharing stories he hadn't thought about in years, about his own high school coach who'd believed in him when no one else did, about the knee injury that ended his playing career, about the first team he'd ever coached and how terrified he'd been. In turn, he learned that Catherine had moved to the city just last year, that she'd grown up in Wisconsin, that she and Tyler's father had divorced when Tyler was 3. She spoke of her son with obvious love and pride, but remained vague about her work, saying only that she was in management at a tech firm. Mom does important computer stuff, Tyler chimed in, returning from his time with the team. She's always on calls and people listen to her. Catherine smiled indulgently. Not always. You certainly don't listen when I tell you it's bedtime. Tyler yawned suddenly as if her words had reminded his body how late it was. I'm not tired, he protested unconvincingly. Sure you're not, Catherine said, checking her watch. But it is getting late and it's been a big night. Darnell could see the disappointment on Tyler's face. Hey buddy, the team's having a celebration cookout at the school next weekend. If it's okay with your mom, maybe you could come to that too. Tyler's eyes lit up. Can we, Mom, please? Catherine hesitated, looking at Darnell. We wouldn't be intruding? Not at all, he assured her. The more the merrier. Family's welcome. She seemed to make up her mind. Then we'd love to. Thank you. As they prepared to leave, Tyler surprised Darnell by giving him a quick hug. Thanks for letting me meet the team, Coach D. Anytime, buddy. Maybe next time you can show me some of your own basketball moves. Tyler nodded seriously. I've been practicing. Mom got me a foam ball like you said. Catherine smiled. It saved at least 3 vases so far. They said their goodbyes, Darnell watching as they made their way out of the restaurant. Just before they reached the door, Catherine turned and gave him a small wave, which he returned. Pete appeared at his side, a knowing look on his face. So, friends, huh? Darnell rolled his eyes. It's not like that. If you say so, Pete replied, unconvinced. She seems nice. Her kid's cute. I met them by chance at the mall last weekend, Darnell explained, keeping his voice low. Tyler got separated from his mom and I helped him find her. That's all. And now they're coming to team events, Pete pointed out. Interesting how things work out sometimes. Darnell didn't respond to that, but as he rejoined the celebration, he couldn't help thinking about the unexpected turns his life had taken lately. A week ago, he'd gone to the mall for basketball jerseys and instead found, what exactly? A scared child, a grateful mother, new friends at the very least. The next morning, Darnell woke to a text message from Catherine. Tyler hasn't stopped talking about meeting real champions last night. Thank you for making him feel special. He smiled, typing back. He made quite an impression on the team, too. Antonio asked if he was my kid. The reply came quickly. What did you tell him? Darnell hesitated before answering truthfully. That he's a new friend who might have a future in basketball. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally, Tyler would be thrilled to hear that. I hope you know you've become something of a hero to him. Darnell felt a strange mix of pride and humility reading those words. Just happy to encourage a future athlete. Looking forward to seeing you both at the cookout. In the days that followed, Darnell found himself thinking about Catherine and Tyler more often than he'd expected. There was something about their presence in his life that felt natural, as if they were filling a space he hadn't realized was empty. On Wednesday, he received another text from Catherine. Tyler has a school project about community heroes. Guess who he wants to interview? Any chance you'd have time this week? Darnell smiled at his phone. I'd be honored. Thursday after school work for you both? They arranged to meet at a cafe near Roosevelt High. As Darnell put down his phone, he realized he was looking forward to it more than he probably should. It was just helping out a kid with a school project, he told himself. That's all. But deep down, he knew it was becoming something more. Something unexpected and genuine. Something that had started with a simple act of kindness in a crowded mall and was growing into, well, he wasn't quite sure yet. But for the first time in a long time, he was excited to find out. The cafe near Roosevelt High buzzed with after-school energy, students hunched over laptops, teachers unwinding after a long day, and the steady hum of conversation mixing with the whir of coffee machines. Darnell arrived early, choosing a quiet corner table with enough room for Tyler's school materials. He'd changed out of his usual coaching clothes into a casual button-down shirt and jeans, feeling oddly nervous about this meeting. Through the window, he spotted them approaching, Tyler skipping ahead of Catherine, his backpack bouncing with each step. When they entered, Tyler's face lit up upon seeing Darnell. "Coach D," the boy rushed over, already unzipping his backpack. "I brought my notebook and my questions and my recorder because Ms. Franklin said we should record interviews like real journalists." Darnell smiled. "Sounds like you're well prepared." Catherine approached more slowly, dressed in a simple blue blazer over a white blouse, her professional appearance somewhat at odds with the casual cafe setting. "Thanks again for doing this. His teacher is very excited about the project." "No problem at all," Darnell assured her. "Can I get you both something to drink? Hot chocolate for the journalist, perhaps?" Tyler nodded enthusiastically. "Yes, please." "With whipped cream?" "Absolutely with whipped cream," Darnell confirmed. "Catherine?" "Just a black coffee, thanks." As Darnell went to place their orders, Catherine helped Tyler organize his interview materials. When he returned with the drinks, Tyler had arranged his notebook, a small digital recorder, and a list of questions written in a child's careful handwriting. "Ready when you are," Darnell said, sliding into his seat. Tyler cleared his throat dramatically and pressed record. "This is Tyler Mitchell interviewing Coach Darnell Wright, community hero. First question. What made you help me when I was lost at the mall?" The directness of the question caught Darnell off guard. He'd expected more general questions about his job or coaching. He glanced at Catherine, who watched with curious eyes over her coffee cup. "Well," Darnell began, choosing his words carefully, "I saw someone who needed help. That's really all there was to it. You looked scared, and I remembered feeling that way when I was your age and got separated from my mom at a baseball game." "You got lost too?" Tyler asked, momentarily going off script. Darnell nodded. "I sure did. I was about your age, maybe a little younger. A security guard helped me find my mom. Sometimes we all need help, no matter how old we are." Tyler scribbled something in his notebook. "Next question. What do you think makes someone a hero?" Darnell took a sip of his coffee, considering. "That's a big question. I don't think of myself as a hero, to be honest. I think heroes are just regular people who choose to help when they could walk away instead. Sometimes it's big things like firefighters running into burning buildings, but most of the time it's small things, helping someone who's lost, standing up for someone being treated unfairly, or just being kind when it's easier not to be." As the interview continued, Darnell found himself opening up more than he'd expected. Tyler asked about his childhood, his coaching philosophy, and what he hoped his students would remember about him years later. Catherine remained mostly silent, occasionally helping Tyler phrase a question, but her attentive gaze never left Darnell's face. "Last question," Tyler announced finally. "What do you want people to know about you that they might not see when they first meet you?" Darnell paused, struck by the depth of the question coming from someone so young. "That's a really thoughtful question, Tyler." He took a moment to gather his thoughts. "I guess I'd want people to know that I believe in second chances, that I try to see the best in people, even when they don't see it in themselves. My coach in high school did that for me, and it changed my life. Now I try to do the same for my students." Tyler turned off the recorder, beaming. "That was awesome. Ms. Franklin's gonna love this." "Great job with those questions," Darnell told him. "You're a natural journalist." Catherine helped Tyler pack up his materials. "Why don't you go wash that whipped cream off your face before we leave?" she suggested, pointing to the restroom sign. Once Tyler was out of earshot, she turned to Darnell. "Thank you. That meant a lot to him." "I enjoyed it," Darnell replied honestly. "He asks better questions than most adults I know." Catherine smiled, a hint of pride in her eyes. "He's always been curious." She hesitated, then continued. "I've been meaning to tell you something. About my work. Your mysterious management job?" Darnell teased gently. She gave him a wry smile. Yes, the thing is, I'm not just in management. I'm the CEO of Horizon Technologies. Darnell's coffee cup froze halfway to his lips. Horizon Technologies was one of the largest tech firms in the city, a major player in cloud computing and business software. He'd seen their headquarters downtown, a gleaming glass tower with their distinctive logo. Wow, he managed. That's impressive. Catherine watched his reaction carefully. I don't usually tell people right away. It tends to change how they act around me. I can imagine, Darnell said, processing this new information. Is that why you were vague about your work? She nodded. When Tyler and I moved here last year, I wanted us to have some normalcy. Make friends who didn't know or care about my position. It's been challenging. Before Darnell could respond, Tyler returned, his face scrubbed clean of chocolate. Mom, can Coach D come to my basketball game next week? It's just the youth league at the community center, but I'm getting better. Catherine looked at Darnell. Only if he wants to, honey. I'd love to, Darnell said without hesitation. Just tell me when. In and where? As they prepared to leave, Catherine's phone rang. She glanced at it and sighed. I need to take this. Work emergency. She stepped away to answer, her voice shifting into what Darnell recognized as her professional tone. Confident, authoritative, decisive. Tyler looked up at Darnell. Mom's always busy with work stuff. Sometimes she has to go to the office even on weekends. That happens when you have an important job, Darnell said. My dad was like that too when I was growing up. But she always comes to my games, Tyler added quickly, loyal to his mother. Always. When Catherine returned, her expression was apologetic. I'm sorry, but I need to stop by the office. There's an issue with a major client. No problem, Darnell said. Thanks for setting this up. As they walked to the door, Catherine surprised him by touching his arm lightly. The team cookout this weekend, is there anything we can bring? Just yourselves, Darnell replied. For a moment they stood there, something unspoken passing between them. Then Tyler tugged at his mother's hand. We gotta go, Mom, you said we're already late. Right, Catherine said, breaking the moment. See you Saturday then. Darnell watched them go, his mind still processing Catherine's revelation. CEO of Horizon Technologies. It explained a lot. Her confidence, the vagueness about her work, even some of Tyler's comments about her important computer stuff. Yet strangely, it didn't change how he saw her. Not really. She was still the same person who'd texted him about foam basketballs and brought her son to the championship game. Saturday arrived with perfect weather for an outdoor cookout. Roosevelt High's courtyard had been transformed with picnic tables, a row of smoking grills, and a makeshift basketball court, where several team members were already playing a casual game. Families mingled, music played from portable speakers, and the smell of barbecue filled the air. Darnell was flipping burgers when Pete nudged him. Your friends are here. He looked up to see Catherine and Tyler making their way through the crowd. Despite knowing about her position now, Darnell was struck by how ordinary she looked in jeans and a simple white top, her hair pulled back in a casual ponytail. Tyler spotted him and ran ahead, carrying what looked like a homemade card. Coach D, we brought you something. Darnell handed the spatula to Pete and stepped away from the grill. Hey, buddy! What's that you've got? Tyler thrust the card forward proudly. It's a thank you card. Mom helped me make it. The front showed a crayon drawing of what appeared to be Darnell helping a smaller figure, Tyler, find his way through a maze to a taller figure, Catherine. Inside, in Tyler's careful handwriting, thank you for helping me find my mom and for being my friend. From Tyler, below it in elegant script, and from me as well. Thank you for everything, Catherine. This is great, Darnell said, genuinely touched. Thank you, Tyler. I'll put it on my desk at school. Catherine approached, carrying a large container. I know you said not to bring anything, but I couldn't come empty-handed. It's just some homemade cookies. Homemade? Darnell raised an eyebrow teasingly. By you? She laughed. Yes, by me. CEOs can bake too, you know, though Tyler did the sprinkles. I did all the sprinkles, Tyler confirmed seriously. As the afternoon progressed, Darnell noticed something remarkable. Catherine blended in seamlessly with the other parents and families. No one treated her differently because, as far as they knew, she was just Tyler's mom, not the head of a major corporation. She cheered during the casual basketball games, helped serve food, and chatted easily with teachers and parents alike. Later, As the event was winding down and Tyler played with some of the other children, Catherine found Darnell sitting alone at one of the picnic tables. "This was wonderful," she said, taking a seat beside him. "Your school community is something special." Darnell nodded. "They are. That's why I could never leave, even when bigger schools come calling." They sat in comfortable silence for a moment, watching the activity around them. "You know," Catherine said finally, "when Tyler got lost that day at the mall, I was terrified. All the worst possibilities ran through my mind. And then you found him." She turned to look directly at him. "Do you believe in fate, Darnell?" The question surprised him. "I don't know. Maybe not fate exactly, but purpose perhaps. That things happen for a reason, even if we don't see it right away." She smiled softly. 3 weeks ago, I was just a stressed CEO and single mom new to this city, with few real connections outside of work. Now here I am at a high school cookout feeling like I belong somewhere, all because Tyler wandered off at the mall and you were there. Life takes some unexpected turns, Darnell agreed. 3 weeks ago, I was just a basketball coach with a championship to win. Now? She prompted gently. Darnell looked at her, then over at Tyler, who was showing another boy how to dribble between his legs, a move Darnell had taught him. "Now I've got some new friends who make my life richer." Catherine's hand moved closer to his on the table, not quite touching but close enough to feel the warmth. "I'm glad Tyler found you that day." "So am I," Darnell replied, meaning it completely. Across the courtyard, Tyler looked up and waved excitedly at them both. They waved back, sharing a smile that held the promise of more days like this to come. Sometimes the most meaningful connections begin in the most unexpected ways. A lost child, a helpful stranger, a grateful mother. 3 lives intersecting by chance, or perhaps by something more than chance, creating a new story together, one that was just beginning.